Hi students, good morning. Today we're going to do science lesson Earth and the Solar System part 3. हमने already दो parts देखे हैं last 2 weeks में. We're going to see part 3 and today we're going to see other heavenly bodies. Okay. First we're going to revise what we saw in the last 2 classes. हम लोग वापस देखने वाले एक बार what we saw in the last 2 classes, and then Kavya Didi will tell you about today's class. So in the last 2 classes, we saw the solar system. The solar system we saw that the solar system has the sun. It has many billions and billions of stars. Then we saw the solar system has how many planets? 8 planets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. We saw that this is the solar system and these are the planets, 8 planets in the solar system. And what did we study? What are planets? Planets matlab kya hai? Planets are heavenly bodies that do not twinkle. Okay? जो चमकते नहीं हैं, those are called as planets. जो चमकते हैं वो क्या है? The sun, the stars. They are not planets. The sun and the star are not planets. जो चमकते नहीं है, जो twinkle नहीं करते हैं, they are the planets, and there are 8 planets. And if they don't have their own light, they do not have their own light, right? The planets. Where do they get their light from? They get their light from the sun and they get their light from the stars. उनका खुद का light नहीं है, तो sun and stars से planets light लेते हैं. We also saw that all these planets sun के ऊपर revolve करते हैं, sun के around revolve करते हैं, they revolve around the sun. We saw something called rotation and revolution. Kavya Didi is going to again explain अच्छे तरीके से what is the difference between rotation and revolution. Rotation मतलब क्या है? लट्टू की तरफ, टॉप की तरफ ऐसे ऐसे एक ही जगह पे ऐसे ऐसे घूमना. But revolution मतलब क्या है? पूरा सर्कल, सन के अराउंड पूरा सर्कल करना. Kavya Didi is going to give an example now. If this is Earth, can you all see? If this is the Earth keeps turning like this. Okay, if the Earth keeps turning like this, एक ही जगह पे, but it keeps turning like this, that's called rotation. In one place only, it's turning like this. Is it moving from one place to here to here? It's not moving, but in one place only, it's turning like this, like a top, like a lattu. That's called rotation. Whereas what is revolution? Revolution means if this is the sun and this is the earth is going around the sun. The earth is revolving around the sun. So the difference between rotation and revolution is rotation, the earth does it from one place, it keeps rotating like a top. But revolution means the earth keeps like here, the earth goes fully around the sun. That's revolution. Okay. And this line is called the orbit where it revolves. I'm going to give you an example like this. See, this is rotation. Is slide pe dekho, the earth is turning like this. The earth is turning like this, like in this slide also. Ye slide pe jo dikh raha hai. This is rotation. एक ही जगह पे वो घूम रहा है. Whereas revolution means the earth is revolving around the sun. Can you see? It is going circle around the sun on its orbit. So this is called revolution. Movement of planets around the sun in their orbit is called revolution. We also saw about 8 planets. Last week we saw about 8 planets. We saw one thing about each of the planets. The first planet that we saw was Mercury, and we saw that the Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, sabse paas wala planet. Then we saw Venus, which is the brightest and the hottest planet. Then we saw the favorite planet Earth, which is where we all live. हम लोग जो रहते हैं, that's called Earth, and the Earth is the only planet जहाँ पे people, animals, plants, etc. are there, where life is there. It is the only planet which has life till now. Then we saw the fourth planet, Mars, and Mars is called the red planet because it has red color ka matti or red color ka soil. Then fifth planet that we saw was Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest planet. Then sixth planet that we saw was Saturn, and Saturn, I said, has 7 rings around it. Can you see the ring around it? Then the eighth planet that we saw was Uranus, and the ninth planet that we saw was Neptune, and both of these are blue in color, and they are ice planets. They're very, very cold from planets because they're so far away from the sun. वो sun से सबसे far है, दूर है, इसलिए ये लोग coldest planets है. These two are coldest planets, whereas Mercury and Venus are very, very hot. Okay. And we also saw something called a dwarf planet. Dwarf planet मतलब बहुत ही छोटा planet. So a छोटा planet, a very, very small body that revolves around the sun is called a dwarf planet. And I said example of a dwarf planet is Pluto. Pluto is an example of a dwarf planet. Okay. So this is what we did till last week. Last week तक हमने ये किया है. तो last week तक हमने solar system देखा था. हमने sun, we saw the sun, we saw stars, and we saw the 8 planets, and we learned one thing about the 8 planets. We learned one thing about all the 8 planets. So what are we going to do today? We know that all these are called heavenly bodies. Sun को heavenly body कहते हैं, stars को heavenly body कहते हैं, all these planets को heavenly body कहते हैं, and ये पूरा मिला के solar system बनता है. But इनके अलावा ये sun and stars and planets के अलावा there are other things in the solar system. इनके अलावा भी there are things in the solar system. We are going to see 2 such things today. Okay, we are going to see 2 such things today. We are going to see something called, so इसके अलावा sun और planets के अलावा there are other things. Okay, can you see here? इधर कुछ तो दिख रहा है. And can you also see Earth के पास में कुछ तो है, वो क्या है? So we're going to see both those things, and they are called as satellites and asteroids. They're called as what? Satellites and asteroids. Satellites and asteroids. And we're going to see what are satellites and what are asteroids. First thing that we're going to see is satellite. Satellites are heavenly bodies that revolve around planets. Okay. Now, if this is the Earth, Earth is revolving around the sun. ये sun है, and this is Earth. Earth is revolving around the sun. But Earth से what is revolving? What is revolving around the Earth? Earth sun से घूम रहा है. Sun के circle पे घूम रहा है. But what is circling the Earth? That is called a satellite. ये white color cheese है ना? That is called a satellite. What is that white color thing? That is the moon. That is the moon. Okay. So the Earth revolves around the sun. The moon revolves around the Earth. The Earth revolves around the sun, and the moon revolves around the Earth. So the moon is our planet satellite. Moon is the Earth's satellite. So satellites are basically, they are revolving around the planets. Okay. सारे planets, कितने planets है? 8 planets. Most of these planets have satellites. Okay. 6 of these planets have satellites. So planets sun से circle करते हैं. Planets circle the sun. Whereas planet को क्या circle करते हैं? These satellites. Planets circle the sun, satellites circle the planets. Now, all the planets have satellites of their own, except for Mercury and Venus. Mercury and Venus के पास खुद का satellite नहीं है, but Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune all have satellites. Can you see? These are the number of satellites that they have. Like Neptune has a lot of satellites, Uranus has a lot of satellites, Saturn has a lot of satellites, Jupiter has a lot of satellites. Earth का एक ही satellite है, and that's the moon. Okay, Earth का एक ही natural satellite है, and that's the moon. So this is satellites. The next thing that we're going to see, the number 2 heavenly body that we're going to see today, are called as asteroids. Can you see between Mars and Jupiter planets एक belt है, एक band जैसा है, and वो पूरा, these are rocks. These are mostly rocks and stones. ये rocks and stones है. एंड ये सारे क्या करते हैं, ये भी सन से घूमते हैं, दे ऑल्सो रिवॉल्व अराउंड द सन एंड दीज आर कॉल्ड एज एस्ट्रॉइड्स. सो एस्ट्रॉइड्स क्या है, पत्थर है और रॉक्स, एंड वो भी सन के ऐसे गोल गोल करते हैं, रिवॉल्व करते हैं. Okay, so asteroids are rocks which revolve around the sun. और ये कौन से planet के बीच में है, only between Mars and Jupiter. Only between Mars and Jupiter ये asteroid है. बाकी कहीं दिख रहा है asteroid? नहीं, इधर नहीं है, इधर नहीं है, it's not there. Only between Mars and Jupiter these asteroids are there. Okay, so we saw two things today, satellite and asteroids. Satellite क्या करते हैं, किसको घूमते हैं, प्लैनेट्स को घूमते हैं, एंड एस्ट्रॉइड्स किसको घूमते हैं, सन को घूमते हैं. सो ये अर्थ है, तो इफ द मून इज सैटेलाइट ऑफ अर्थ, ये मून अर्थ से घूमेगा. whereas if asteroids है और ये सन है, तो एस्ट्रॉइड्स सन को घूमेगा, एस्ट्रॉइड्स सन से रिवॉल्व करेगा. सो डिफरेंस बिटवीन सैटेलाइट्स एंड एस्ट्रॉइड्स आर, satellites revolve around the planets. A white wala jaise satellites revolve around the planets like moon revolves around the earth, whereas asteroids jo patthar hai, rocks hai, they revolve around the sun, they revolve around the sun. Okay, and we also saw dwarf planet. Dwarf planet is a very very small planet, and that is here, which is Pluto. Can you see, it's very very small compared to all the other planets. So solar system is 8 planets plus one dwarf planet called the Pluto. And uske alawa, so what are the things I can see in the solar system here? I can see sun, I can see 8 planets. I can see how many planets? 8 planets. I can see the asteroid belt. Asteroid belt is the patthar wala belt which revolves around the sun. And I can also see the moon. And moon, does it revolve around the sun? No, it revolves around the earth. It revolves around earth. Okay, so this is the lesson for today. Lesson is over. What do you have to do today? आज का homework क्या है? आज का homework है, first homework, you have to write answers to these 5 questions. Kavya Didi is going to fastly read these 5 questions and you have to answer. Heavenly bodies that revolve around planets, not the sun. Heavenly bodies that revolve around planets are called what? Are they called asteroids or are they called satellites? Second question, the dash is a satellite of planet Earth. Planet Earth का satellite कौन सा है? Moon है या stars है? Third one, asteroids are a band of rocks between planets dash and dash. कौन से दो planet के बीच में asteroids, the rock belt is there? Is it between Mars and Earth or Mars and Jupiter? And dash is a dwarf planet, Mars or Pluto. And the last question, draw the relationship between sun, earth and moon. Sun, earth and moon, what circles what? Okay, does the moon circle the sun, earth circle the moon? ऐसे circles draw करना है. इधर कहीं दिया है, okay, in one of these it's there, okay, you have to draw that. Okay, and drawing activity for today, number 2 homework for today is drawing activity where you will draw the solar system with all the heavenly bodies. Sun, all the planets, 8 planets, 1 dwarf planet, asteroid, the moon which is a satellite. Ye sab milake we will draw the solar system today. I am going to send you a video how to draw this. Okay, so 2 homeworks in science. One is finish these 5 questions and the second one is draw the solar system with all the heavenly bodies. Okay, we're stopping the lesson here. Bye.